we have the power forward, which is the 4. The power forward to me should be able he should be able to do what the big man does, but I'll probably say at 60%. Meaning 60% of his game is down low on the block and 40% is on the perimeter, meaning like mid-range jumpers, threes, stuff like that. I want him to really understand that position, and I want him to be just as tall. I mean, not equally tall, but just as tall. I would think more like a, DeAndre Jordan, a Tyson Chandler. He doesn't have to be athletic or a Dirk Nowitzki, Tim Duncan, those kind of guys. Charles Barkley. The body, it doesn't have to be big or whatever. I just feel like he just kind of got to be tall just to kind of bring that threat, that high threat, with the team, to the other team, to the opponent. And because I feel like, and I want him to play. I want the two big men to play on the block for a moment. And like I said, 60% for my power forward, and then 40%, just to kind of like, play outside on the perimeter. I really feel like if I have a dominant big man, and then his man start doubling, and the power forward man start doubling and helping, that's a lob. That's a lob. He just don't have to. That's a lob. He doesn't even have to like jump and dunk it. He could just come down with it, or Paul Gasol come down with it with the ball, keep his hands up. So if the wings trying to come and help and get a steal, no way. The ball is up, too much length, and just put it on the glass. That's it, bucket. So that's a problem. And when you look at the NBA Finals, the Golden State against the Cavs, oh my God, that was a huge problem for the Cavs. That was a huge problem. The Cavs didn't have no length. They didn't have. I mean, they did, but they didn't go. They didn't go at those guys. It was all about LeBron. And I'll talk about that later on. But it was about LeBron and just LeBron trying to LeBron take us to the championship. And they did at some one year they did. But I feel like with Moscow, they could have like Moscow just you got Moscow you got Draymond Green on Moscow. I mean that's a huge mismatch. Huge mismatch. I mean, hook shot all day and one hook shot. I take that. I'd rather know I come down and score automatically bucket, or possibly an N1, and you come down, you hit a 3 every time, a contesting 3 every time. I could take that all day, all the way to the end of the game. I take my chances because I'm sure at some point your leg's gonna get tired. As long as it's a contested 3, your leg's gonna get tired. Eventually, I'm gonna keep scoring because it's the highest percentage shots. Anyway, I'll talk about that in another video. But my power forward, when I look at a guy like Kevin Durant, Kevin Durant got the chance to play outside. The world have seen his talent. I'm talking about if Kevin was young, like when you first get him, as a player in the pros, I would have tried to develop the back to the basket game with that kid because look at the arm length. You imagine if that guy could have scored, if that guy had a hook shot, you imagine if he had a hook shot and like out of 10, he would score probably like 8 times. That's a automatically bucket. I mean, literally. I mean, he shoot the fade away good. But I'm talking about the fade away is not the highest percentage shot, even though he's really great at it. I mean, no question about it. But there's no way they could have stopped that. No way. And then he could do the other stuff, the dribbling, the what. Like he could do the other stuff. But I'm sure if he had that hook shot, I'm sure he would have like probably in the season maybe like 5 or 6 games where he has 70 points. Straight up. 70 points. Because the hook shot, it's hard to guard. It's very hard to guard. So I would think more like I want my 4-man to be able to, play back to the basket. And be able to face up, have the face-up game, mid-range jumpers, shoot threes. Obviously, like I said, 60% down low and 40% outside. I still want that threat. I still, the opportunity to get offensive rebound. If the big man, if the center misses those hook shots, that's an if. Especially if the center become a problem, like just every time bucket. Now it's a problem. He has to bring attention. He has to bring double team. Man, opportunity for like threes nice. Even my power forward. I feel like the power forward is kind of like a decoy as well. I feel like the power forward is kind of like a decoy because he's he's like a confusion a little bit. He's like a he plays the four. He's the big, but who could play as a wing, like who could play on the perimeter. So even though you know what he gonna do, you could scout that. It's still hard to do, especially when you have a great power forward. You imagine if a guy like Dirk, like Dirk Nowitzki, the post-up game he has, could I put the ball on the floor like Kevin Durant a little bit, not too much. Just like let's say like on the perimeter, let's say he could do it. Let's say he has Kevin could do it like let's say 80% or 90%. Let's say he could do it. Let's say he could do it like 60% or 70%. No, that's too much. Let's say 60%. Like do few things like step back and stuff like that. And he got that game of like back you up and fade away jumper, or maybe like the hook shot. Oh my goodness! I mean, you got a scary line as far as the big man. I mean, very, very, very dangerous. Like your team gonna have to adjust to that. I don't care how great they shoot from the outside. I don't care how small and great they play. They shoot from the outside. They will adjust to that. No way. They will adjust. And I feel like a lot of teams in the NBA are going away from that. And even in different leagues, people trying to shoot threes and stuff like that, which is great. There's no problem about that. But again, power forward, you're a power forward for a reason. Obviously, the length, and you could do a lot. I want him to be able to do a lot of things on down low just to bring that threat. Obviously, he's the second highest shooting percentage in the team after the big man. Because again, he's tall, just as tall. He's close. He's the second close thing from the basket, and obviously from the height and the position standpoint. I want him to be able to play out of those. I want his style of the game to be able to be both. Like he could play just as great from the paint and just as equal from the outside. Meaning he doesn't have an issue. He doesn't have like problem playing inside or out. Like he's very comfortable either way. Very comfortable. Just know how to read the game. If he has a mismatch and feel like the guy's not as strong, back to the basket. Like he just play the game, not really focusing on let me just look cool and be on the outside and do this. A guy that really understands his strength and just know how to utilize it to make the other team pay. That's kind of like what I expect out of my four-man, the power forward. And obviously, I also feel like he deserves to have like 3 or 4 possessions as far as like play calls and stuff like that. So he get going. Like I say, I will talk about that. I will talk about the style of the system later on. But it's not about whether he misses or makes it. We go at him, and then he get himself going. And that's something we practice. That's something that we're going to practice. That I would advise coaches to practice with him or trainers to practice with him. So it's not about I made this shot. Now they're coming back at me. We're going to run another one. It's like we could run another one because we actually run another one because you missed it. Because in practice we usually go three times at you or 2 times at you. You missed the first one. We going back at you. Like things like that. Instead of just like you missed it and then we go. Let's try to see what else we got. Things like that really mess up the psychology of your players, especially when those are like great players. They're great players. They practice for that. So that's kind of what I expect out of my power forward.